I often run across people today who for some reason, don't think that they can do the business of real estate. And then I relate to my story. I'm 35 years old. I'm working in a service station. I have no retirement. I have no bank account. My wife is not working. It's just me. I have no previous education. I had to struggle to get through the 12th grade. I have no formal training whatsoever. And yet somehow I came from that to where I am today. And I look at all of the excuses people come up with on why they can't do it. And I often tell my students, there's only one way you can get good at anything. First, you gotta suck. So if you qualify for there, you're in the right position. Suck first, get better every day. Next thing you know, you're the expert. And it really don't make any difference what business you're in, the same thing is going to apply.
Good morning. Welcome back to day 3. Today's discussion is going to be all about pre-screening your leads when you get them and your scripts. In fact, your scripts are going to be displayed today, so keep your phone handy if you, unless you just want to do a screenshot if you're watching on a phone or an iPad or whatever. Now, I've noticed that we got probably 35% more people on than we had the first day. So that means a lot of people didn't make it day 1 and day 2. It's too bad, but you're here now. So at the risk of repeating, I want to show everybody what's in the VIP package. John, if you give me the Elmo. Because it's going to cost you if you don't buy this. You'll see why in about an hour or so. We'll give you the recordings of the event. John, when did you say they'd be sent out? Next week?
Ron, Friday after the event's over, we're going to publish it right here on this event. If you're on Ring Central Events with us, there's that button that says replay on the side. We're going to publish all of the recordings of every day, this 5 days, and also the bonus hour for the VIPs with the Q&A sessions with Ron. We'll publish those. We'll send you a new link so you can click on it and get to those recordings. And then in the meantime, we're going to edit those recordings down and make them into a online package for everybody on our website where we publish our online events. Mm-hmm. We'll get those to you within 30 days, but you'll have access to the raw recordings immediately on Friday at the end of the day.
And that's by itself was worth a lot more than $149 for this whole package. Monthly conference calls you'll get. In fact, you'll get more than that. You'll be notified of several different kinds of conference calls, and then you can get on the ones that interest you. You get to ask questions after each session today. I reserve an hour, up to an hour afterwards. Frankly, I'll last as long as you will, but an hour is plenty of time to get all your questions answered. And a 30-minute planning session. Now, you should have that application right there. When you registered, you got this application for the planning session. And it is 30 minutes of literally talking about what you got to do in your business to get started or get going. It's not a sales call. Nothing's going to be sold unless you ask. So you got to make reservations, though. We got those stacked up already, and it might be several days before they can give it to you right now. So there's only 2 people in this building qualified to conduct that call with you, so you can see why it's going to take a little bit of time. There's a 90-minute online training about terms. And if you've been here 3 days, you know what that is by now. I've showed you some houses that I bought on terms, and I've showed you some junkers that Adel and I flipped. We do it all, and the key is very simple. You got to be able to find the deals, which we discussed yesterday. Showed you the Dreams Pro website, which in itself is a game changer. So finding deals, I used to spend $5,000 a month just in newspaper ads to find deals, and that was a lot of money, and we don't do that today. You don't need to spend that to find or sell houses. Today we spend nothing selling houses, and back then I used to spend another $5,000 just selling houses. We're in a good times. All the technology is available to you, and step by steps available to you. All you got to do is step in and keep on progressing each step till you guys start getting checks, which won't take long. Now, the $1 million scripts are in your package too. I'm going to show them to you today, but they're also in your package, and they truly are. In fact, we're going to go through them today because that's part of pre-screening your prospects. And then there's the IRA course. Guys, you really don't have any idea what this IRA course is until after you've got it and listened to it. I mean, what it's worth. it may be the barrier that keeps you from making real estate a big wealth, and not just keep getting checks. When you got an entity that the government allows you to operate and make money and not pay taxes on the profit, that is certainly worth you taking a look at. And this course will take you step by step how to do that, and you'll see why having an IRA is just kind of a must, because non-taxed money it grows 10 times faster than taxed money. So get an IRA. And this course is going to tell you all about it, what you can't do, what you can do. And there's nobody that cannot have a Roth IRA. And Roth, what I mean, no taxes ever. Not a traditionalist. No taxes till you take the money out. I like the forever part better. I've seen some students grow very, very, very wealthy by using their IRA to get real estate. In fact, remember those 5 wholesale deals we discussed on day one if you were here? Do you remember where my total investment was $50? My total return was $147,000 in 2 months. Okay, what if that was your IRA? Your IRA has to put up the deposit. Now when it sells, all the money goes into your IRA, taxed free forever. All right, and I was told, I didn't know this yesterday, we're going to give you a 30-day free trial of the Dreams Pro system. And how do they get that? Nick, one of you.
As soon as they sign up for the VIP package, there's a little option down at the bottom to where you just say, yes, I'd like to get a trial of the membership, and it'll sign you up automatically.
Okay.
It is optional, so if you don't want to do the trial, then you can just say no, and you can still get the VIP package.
All right. And frankly, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? It's free. In fact, if you're not happy with it, we'll give you 3 times your money back. Yeah, that was a joke. All right. So, get that package right now and you'll be glad you did. And I missed something on there. I missed something. You're also going to get a half a day seminar on where the money is in real estate. Yep, it's called Fast Track to Wealth. You're going to get you're going to be able to video watch that as well. That's also one of the links you're going to get when you, how did I miss it? I don't know. And you're going to get some online training for your dream system as well. Okay. Guess we're going to get going now. So today we're going to talk about pre-screening prospects. And I think we better put the system in here while we're talking about it. So far, you've learned to generate leads from sellers who may want to sell their house. You've learned to do that offline with a phone number, having them call Pat Live 24 hours a day, and they take all the calls, the short script, and they send that short script to you, which tells you where the house is at, what they're asking for it, and how many square feet it is in it, and a picture of the house. When you get that, you simply say, yeah, that looks like a lead that I'd be interested in. So you send your leads to your virtual assistant, and you wait for your completed property information sheet to come back to you. So far, systems. I want you in the middle, though. Don't be sending these leads to your VA without. No, you don't want to pass them directly from Pat Live to your VA. You want to see what's coming through. Not only do you want to take out the ones that you don't think you're interested in, but you also need to keep track of how many leads you're sending into your VA. And then shortly after, ask your VA how many, well, it's on your Dreams Pro system. It tells you how many they called, when they called. They'll call 3 times, try to get people to pick up the phone, which is honestly a big job today. And the qualified leads, we can get about 70% of them to pick up the phone. But leads that come off the internet is as high as 60% that they can't get to by making a phone call. So then you're trained to text them. If the VA can't get them to pick up the phone, you've got their phone number. It's right on the PI sheet. You text them, say, I'm interested in buying your house. Could you please contact me? Or I tried to reach you and I couldn't get an answer. Would you please contact me about buying your house? Make sure you put the buying part in there. They think you're going to be a realtor trying to get them to list the property. I'm telling you from experience, A lot of your good leads are going to come from your text. So remember, now they know you're real. When you get on the phone with somebody, they don't know who they're talking to, but when you send them a text, now they have a stronger belief that you're for real. And then they'll text you back. Some of them, I'd guess about 30% of them, according to our experience, will text you back that you can't get on the phone. Guys, if you can't get them on the phone, you ain't buying their house. You're not buying a house that isn't listed with a realtor without talking to the seller. So you want to get them on your phone as fast as you possibly can. Text them immediately. You'll be surprised how many of them come right back to you. You should give them well, they already got your phone number. You should also give them however you want them to respond, DM or call you. So your number should be a Pat Live number. They give you 6 numbers when you set up your account with Pat Live for free. And there are 6 numbers in your area. So do it immediately. Don't sit around and wait. The longer you wait, the less chance you got of getting the deal. So can't get them, pick up phone, text them. That's the next step right there. First, you generate leads, then you send them to Pat Live by phone, then you send them to your virtual assistant to make the call and fill out that entire property information sheet that looks like that. That's the most important piece of paper in your business right there. And your goal is to get as many of those as you can come across your desk every single week, because that's where it all begins right there. So either you're going to fill it out or your BAs are going to fill it out. And if you want to try filling it out, go right ahead. I have no problem with that. I know within a couple, 3 weeks, you're going to be hiring a VA. I get it. I've been around this a long time, guys, and I know what you're concerned about as much as you do, I think. And this is not a job I want you to do. This comes under the heading of grunt work. Let your VAs who work 24 no, they don't work 24 hours. Pat Live does. VAs don't. But when you send them your leads, they're going to start calling them as quick as they can, and then put them up on your Dreams Pro website that you saw yesterday. Or if you wish, they can send them to you by email. It's your choice. So VAs do the hard work. You got to do something to generate leads. And we was on Dreams Pro yesterday, and you saw how we pick our most qualified list and send them. More training coming up shortly on that one. In fact, I'll tell you right now, but put it in your book. January 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9. There's going to be a session each day, another masterclass on nothing but him. Adult showing you what cool things are on there, which you didn't get through half of them yesterday. We just didn't have time. So mark that down. You'll get an email about it. And you're all invited to that, whether you're in the VIP or not. Of course, if you haven't gotten the program by then, I don't know how much of it you're going to get out of it, because you can be sitting there with your laptop while he's showing you where to go and whatever. All of you are invited, and there's no charge. Okay. VA's got your leads. Here comes your property information sheets. Now you got to get on the telephone and call them with a sheet in front of you. Now, you'll notice up in the upper left-hand corner, that's mostly about you, although the area, I like to know where the area of town is that they are calling from. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the questions that go directly to them as well. And one of them is how did you arrive at your asking price? And that's kind of a handy question, because if they say, I got it off of Zillow, your heart starts beating, because they're almost certainly asking less than what it's worth on Zillow, because they went to the guesstimate. Don't you do that. Don't you go to the guesstimate on Zillow and use that for your value. Very seldom is that the case. In fact, your value is usually higher than the estimate. Almost always. And if you think about it, I mean, I haven't trained you on this yet, but we're only going to use the top 2 comps, the top 2 comparables, all we're going to use. So that means we're using the houses that are in excellent condition, or they wouldn't be the top 2. Some houses in that area are probably going to be sold for less. Okay, well, I don't know why they sold for less. It could be a seller problem, could be a house problem, could be a whole number of things. But I don't care, because I'm not using them. I'm using the top 2, and so will your appraiser. So and that's going to get me to a better number. For example, if I'm using any kind of a guesstimate or estimate, they're all going to be based on averages. If they're based on averages, your top 2 are going to be mixed with your bottom ones, and that's obviously going to drag your real R down if you think about it very heavily. So we don't use averages, and we don't use the Zestimate on Zillow or anybody else's guesstimate. Even our Dreams Pro has got a guesstimate, but you've got to go and look up the comps that apply to your subject, and then pull up the top two, and then figure out what your RV is based on that. Of course, we teach all of that in your Quick Start school in our 4-day event, which I'm going to tell you about this afternoon. Now, the middle one, the one with the mortgage amounts, we always need to know what they owe on the house, always, and we need to know the payment. Frankly, I don't care about anything else. I do know. I do need to know if it's current, and so you don't say, "Are you current or are you behind?" You don't say that. You say, "I assume it's current," and they'll say, "Yeah," or they'll say, "No." All right, and the payment. Then I want to know if it's listed or not. Why? Because if it's listed, you can't go. You better not go get a contract on a house knowing it's listed, because if you sell that house while it's listed, you're probably going to get sued for tortious interference of a contract. And, the realtor got there first. They have a listing. So one of three things got to happen. Number one, you can wait it out, which could be a long time. Number two, you can ask the seller to ask the realtor to release the listings and get an email to that effect. Or number three, you and or the seller could pay some kind of commission, probably at a deeply reduced price. And that's totally up to the realtor, incidentally. You can't just cancel a contract. A realtor's got to allow you to cancel it. All right. So now you're sending, I better go down and finish it, didn't I? All right, look at B in the middle. B is the question the VAs ask to get an idea whether there's any interest in terms or not. Now, we don't really use the word terms. I say, well, you'll see it in the scripture a little bit. I basically just ask them, hey, I'm assuming you're okay if I make your payments till you're paid off in the future. If they say yes to that, we know the term. It's however many years are left on the loan. There's no balloon. And look at B. I can't read it from here, but I can tell you what it says. It says, sometimes we pay cash for houses, and sometimes the sellers let us make their payments till it's paid off in the future. It's going to sell for a higher price if we buy it on terms than it is if we buy it for cash. Cash price is always going to be well below the terms price. So are you interested in hearing about other options? If they say yes, it's a yes lead. If they say no, it's a no lead. Now, if they say yes, obviously those are the first ones you want to call back. If they say no, you're going to call them anyway. You're going to call them anyway, because a goodly number of your no's are yeses. So call them, call all of them. I don't care what it says down at the bottom of that page, that notes from the VA. Call them anyway, because you're going to be surprised what they tell you compared to what they tell our VAs. They know our VAs are not the principals. So sometimes it'll say right on your sheet down the bottom, they will only tell the principal. That's okay, because I'm going to call them anyway. I don't mind asking them what they owe. And then the no leave says they no, but think about it. You're on the phone with a seller, and you're that seller actually. And somebody says to you, you're interested in let's not making payments till you paid off. And you're thinking, what the heck are they talking about? This must be some kind of a scam, right? So they say, no, I'll talk to the principal. That's actually quite normal, even though that's a slim minority, not the majority. Now, if they don't want to give the answer, that's okay too. Because when you call them, you're going to get it. If you ask them, what do you owe in the house? And they say, it's none of your business. Just get off the phone and throw that sucker away. Don't tick me off. You're going in the trash. And every once in a while you get something like that. I guess people don't know that the mortgage is recorded on public records. Anyway, when you look at B, you either get a yes or a no. And when you look at A, it says, will you sell for what you owe? So when you get a yes to that, you know what you got to do. You got to get out to the house and get a contract on the house quickly before somebody beats you to it. And many of them, in fact, I showed you yesterday that beautiful house that I did 10 years ago. And we added up what I've made over that 10-year period, and $650,000 on that one house that I paid $351 for by taking over their debt. I got no down payment, none. So I took over their $351 debt because they had to get out of the payment very quickly because they were moving out of town. Now that's a nothing down deal, except I did pay some closing costs on it, which, somebody's going to give you their house. You're probably going to pay all the closing costs. So take some time to find out what they are in your area. So now you know. You only got to find out once, and you'll know what to apply. So we want yes leads, but trust me, do not ignore the no's. We'll get as many deals out of the no's as we get out of the yeses, because there's several times more no's than yeses. That's simple math. Now look down below that, and you see the next paragraph. How did you arrive at your price? Is it listed or not listed? When do you want to move? Does it need repairs? And that's when you get the answer to that, you'll know what you're dealing with immediately. If it needs a lot of repairs, then it's probably a rehab job. If it needs just a little bit of repairs, it's probably a terms job, assuming whether it's free and clear or whether you're buying it on terms with an underlying loan. If it needs a little bit of work, it's all going to depend on how much work. But I can take those kind of houses, I can buy them with subject to or wrap around, and then put a lease option tenant buyer in there, and they can do some work in exchange for a little discount in price. We call those work for equity buyers. Or I can go do the work myself, put it on the market at top price, which we have done in the last two houses that we have lease option. And if you do the work, you will be able to command not only the retail, not only the price that comps show you, but I always raise my price at least 5% and sometimes get up to 10%. In fact, go back to that first house I showed you day one. I got $50,000 down, and the purchase price was $351. I guess that's more than 10%, isn't it? I always shoot for 10%, but that's going to be determined by, okay, what kind of neighborhood is it in? How is the market today? And higher the price the house that you have, the chances are it's going to take longer to get that buyer, but that buyer's coming up with a lot of dollars. Now, if you're brand new, I won't take less than 5% down. I'll sit there and make the payments before I take less than 5% down. And I always shoot for higher. So, probably half the time I don't get the higher, but I get the 5%. Now, if you're asking yourself, what if I list it with a realtor and they suck up 6%? Well, you added it to the price, just like your department stores do. So there's always an exit, but it needs a little work. You take less, it needs a lot of work. It's going to turn into a renovation. And if it turns into a renovation, then if they won't give you terms, then you're down to an all cash price. And I gave you the formula for that yesterday. ARV times 70% minus repairs equals MAYO, maximum allowable offer. But we never pay MAYO, always get it considerably less. So if it's a rehab job, it'll be identified pretty quickly. If it's a terms job and they got a loan and they're willing to let you take over their payments, obvious, that's where you want to go with it. Terms means long-term golden goose. Cash means sell and cash out as fast as you can. Buy for cash, I sell for cash. Buy on terms, we sell on terms. When we sell on terms, we don't have to go get any loan from anybody, not even a private lender, because we're taking over the debt that's on there, but we're not qualifying for it. We don't sign on the note personally. We don't do any of that stuff people think you got to do as a real estate investor. It's not true. Worst thing I want you to do is guarantee a debt. When you guarantee a debt, you're at risk. Now you're a slave to the bank, regardless of what happens outside. Don't guarantee the debt. Learn to buy without guaranteeing debt and stay out of that mess where you're controlled. Build your business where there's nobody controlling you at all. And that's not going to be the case when you go down to the bank and borrow money. Not only that, how many loans at the bank you think you're going to get before they cut you off at the knees when you need them the most? All the houses I show you, if there's a loan on it, I ain't guaranteeing it. If I have to put a private loan on it, I ain't guarantee that. We don't guarantee private loans, no matter what they're on, which teach you in the private lending course in the boot camp when you get there. In fact, I got a course on private lending. I'll get to it in a minute. I'm going to give it to you. Now, the next one down there, how'd you arrive at your price? When do you want to move? Is it listed or not? Does it need repairs? And when do I want to move is important to me because they say ASAP, then they're going to get out if they're not already out shortly. Or they'll give you a month and a date or whatever. I don't care. If I get a good deal taking over a debt and I need 2 months to live in there, so be it. That's just 2 more months they're going to pay the underlying note, though, the one that's in their name, not mine. So, and then I'm going to start my payments in the 3rd month after they're out or after closing, which the latter of the two. And I got language to that effect right in your boot camp manual. By the way, let me show you this boot camp manual. And when you register for the boot camp today, truthfully, I would not print this manual out. Here's a lot of darn printing. Look at this thing. Huh? You don't want to print that out. Because if your first event is going to be virtual, then we're going to, we'll have the manual ready for you to download there. But look, the size of that thing. See how many pages are on that sucker? 390 pages. Are you sure you want to print that out? Okay. Because when you walk into a live event, we give you one of these. We give you one of these. All right. Okay, then we get down to the very bottom, and it calls for bedrooms and baths, which is very important to me. Square footage is very important to me. And then was brick or block or what's it made out of? Has it got a garage, 1 or 2 or what? And then there's a place for, down at the bottom there is a place for notes. Okay, when your VA is calling this, most all of them are going to have notes at the bottom. That's your property information sheet. By the way, don't try to change it. Don't try to change it. Okay, there is nothing you want to know from the seller that isn't on this sheet, or they won't tell you when you get in touch with them. Don't change it. I'm talking to you guys. I know you want to change it first thing. You can make it better. I understand that. Don't mess with it. It's the least of your concerns right there, trying to fix that form. Now that form is, in fact, if you don't have that form, do they have this form when you sign them up, guys? Is this PI form when you sent them? I don't think it was it?
No, the VIPs would have access to this because it's in the script guide.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is this form is available at ronlegrand.com/FSBO. Yep, that's available free to anybody.
ronlegrand.com/FSBO.
Yep, FSBO as in for sale by owner.
FSBO. Okay. So I get this from my VA, and now I got to pick up phone, call them, and make a closing call using my scripts. You should already have the scripts. There's the big one. It's called the closing call script because that's what it is. The closing call script. Okay. Now I can't read that from here, so I'm just going to wing it. I mean, I know I wrote it, but I know pretty much what's on it. You pick up the phone and you call them, and they answer the phone. And you already know the guy's name is John. So when they pick up the phone, you say, "Hi, John," and shut up, let John answer. And then you say, "This is Ron. And I'm following up on the information you gave my assistant the other day about your home for sale. You got a minute?" All right. I'm asking permission for his time. And then I'm going to say something to the effect, "Well, John, listen, sometimes we pay cash for houses and sometimes we just make payments till they're paid off. And of course, it's always going to be a lot higher price for, I'm always pay you more with the terms than I am for the all cash. So John, do you have to have all cash now? Or could you get a better deal by not taking cash now, but get it sometime in the future when I pay you off?" Something like that. That's not exactly what it says, but that's the gist of it. Now, if they say, and then I think the last sentence is, "So John, do you have to have cash now to sell your house?" All right. Is that not a good paragraph or what? Is that going to screen John out quickly? I mean, quickly. Yes, it is. Now, if he says, "Yes, I do," then the only question you got left is, well, if I paid you cash, what's the least you could accept? And I can tell you right now, you're going to be very lucky if that gets you anywhere near you got to be. Remember, if you pay cash, you got to have a deep discount on the house, which means it is ugly. If they're advertising this house, it's probably not ugly, so it doesn't hurt to ask. Now, if they say, no, I don't have to have all my money now, then you just go down there and start reading those bullets, which I cannot read. John, can you blow them big enough for me to read? Because I wrote these bullets, and I still put this script in front of me because I can't remember every one of them. And you should do the same. If you try to memorize it, which you will shortly thereafter, I think, but yeah, or you may not. You may just keep this in front of you all the time you're talking about a terms deal. And yeah, I'm gonna let you read it. If you got them already, and if you don't, get that VIP package for a measly $149 in there. I want to ask him. Well, I've already asked him what's the least he'll take for the house. It's actually, yeah, it's already on your PI sheet. Your VA ask him. Okay, and then I go on to give them all the benefits. One of them is you don't have to be out of your house right away if you need some time to move. Not a problem with me. Another one is you can take whatever furniture you want and leave whatever you want. Don't worry about it. You don't have to take it all out of the house. Now, that's a big benefit for some people right there. Because back at the last one we bought, honestly, the reason they weren't trying too hard to sell it was they had furniture in the house and they didn't know what to do with it. They moved to Vegas. I imagine the furniture moved with them. And they just need to get out as fast as they can. So they accepted our offer after she'd tell me what she wanted. I think she started at $260, if I'm not mistaken. We bought it at $240, 100% finance, it's 0 down, 5-year balloon, and interest. Did I pay her interest? No, I did not pay her any interest because I'm already paying interest on her first mortgage. So you can read that when you get a can. Put it back so they can shoot it with their camera if they want to now, John. That's a very important script. In fact, that's a $1 million script right there in its own. So that's the script you're going to be using most. Now, if they check B, or even if they don't check B and you want to call them, you get them on the phone, same script. Now, you've seen an A column on that PI sheet. It said, will you sell for what you owe? Now, when they say yes, you just got a free house. Go get it. Taking over their debt. If they say no, then your next question is, well, listen, what's the least you could take for your equity if I took over your debt or if I made the payments to the bank? And many times they'll give you a small amount of money because they need to move rather than the larger amount of money you think they're going to ask you for. Now, we only use that when there is less than $35,000 owed between the amount that they owe and the seller's asking price. $35,000. So the amount that they owe, and if I'm going to do repairs plus the repairs, has got a total some number that you're happy with. Because you're not, if you have to renovate it, then that's a totally different question anyway. Most likely, people who renovate houses, if their sellers are still in them, and frankly, it's a very simple conversation. I'll take over your debt, and so it's the least you need out of the house for me to sell it to me. I'll pay all your closing costs. So, going back to the, I think I'm going back. Yeah. Look at the little box down there in the lower right-hand corner. That's not questions you ask the seller. That's a note that you jot down while you're reading the script. You know, what's the least you would take, monthly payment, and a term. Now, if they say yes, they're okay with me making their payments till they're paid off. You already know the term. You don't need to ask. Well, these are questions you ask them, but you record them right there so they're on the sheet that you're using going forward, and you don't have to HUD those answers now. Somebody's asking them that. The VA's asking the question first, and then you confirm it when you call. And we start that call off with, "Hi, John. My name is Ron, and I'm calling about the house you discussed with my assistant yesterday. You got a minute?" Now, a couple of warnings. You know John's name is John Smith. The last thing you want to do is say, "Hi, is this John Smith?" No. You're an instant telemarketer if you get on answer the phone like that. Instantly. "Hi, John. This is Ron calling about the house you discussed with my assistant yesterday." Already they know what it's about in a nanosecond. Nanosecond. And the second biggest warning, do not say, "How are you today?" Okay, who cares? They sure don't. How are you today? That's what untrained people say when they're making a call. How are you today? And so many telemarketing companies, you get calls from every day, same thing. How are you? I'm in a bad mood. Why are you calling? Why are you bothering me? That's my attitude anyway. Because the minute they say that, I know they're calling, trying to sell me something. How are you today? So just make a note and put it with the rest of your notes. All right, we made the closing call, got the script. Now, if you get the right answer at the bottom, the question at the bottom is, would you consider me making your payments? And then they said, yeah, I consider it. Okay. Now you go to what we've called $1 million script. There's 3 questions on that script, and that's all, just 3. First one is, well, John, tell me, what is the least you'll pay for my house? What is the least you'll take for your house? And then they give you an answer. Then is that the best you can do? And it's almost always going to say, well, I can take it down a little. Is that the best you can do is the most valuable words in the whole negotiating industry. Is that the best you can do? You got to learn to say that. You got to learn to say that with everybody you talk to about anything buying or selling. You will be shocked what it'll do. Flabbergasted. Is that the best you can do? Now, followed by, you're going to, let's say that you're asking the second question. We usually buy with nothing down, okay? And they say, no, it's not okay. I'm going to need some money. And you're going to say, well, how much do you need? And they'll give you an answer lower. And then you're going to say, is that the best you can do? We usually buy with nothing down. How close to nothing can you get? That script, and you practice and don't screw it up by the way the words come out of your mouth, will make you a lot of money. A lot of money. Got people using it all over the country. I use them. We use that exact same language right here in our own business here in Jacksonville. And the last question is about the payment. Now, common sense applies here. If it's free and clear, you just ask them, how low can you get your payment every month? And then same thing. Really, honestly, that's the best you can do. That's really pushing it for me. What's the least you can take for that payment? If they're still up too high, then you say, well, the most I could pay is $1,200, whatever it is. And it'll be yes or no. And the last one, if they have a loan underneath, you say, I assume you're okay if I make payments on your loan until you're paid off? That's a question. And now they're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, move on. Don't say you will. No, if they say yes, you just got a house with nothing down, just like the one I showed you. In fact, I'm going to show it to you again. No, I'm not. I don't think. Anyway, that's how we got the house. Adel did not offer them a down payment. That's a dumb thing to do, is offer them money before they tell you what they'll take. So just remember that. I don't care what you're buying. Never name the price. He who names the price has a big foot in my mouth. Now, we name the sales price when we're selling. Okay, that's all. We do not name the down payment. We do not name the monthly payment. So when they call, we find out what's the most you can put down. Really, is that the best you can do? If that's the most you can put down, I'm going to have to think about that for a while. I'll call you back, whatever, a week or two. And you put them on your buyer's list, which your VAs will do for you. In fact, your VAs will do most of this stuff for you. They manage your website, and they manage your buyers. They manage your buyers list if you want them to. Anyway, they do whatever you tell them you want done, and a list of things that they can do. Appointment script. Yeah, we got appointment script. Have you ever seen a company that has people on the phone all day that don't have a script? Scripts rule the world. Scripts rule the world. And people and companies that operate without them are losing a ton of business. They don't even know it. So there's 2 points here in this appointment script. Well, listen, John, when do you want me to come out when you and Mary are present? I want both of them there. Both of them. Can't get a contract with both of them signed. And I don't like leaving it with one and having them get the other one, their wife's signature on the other. I don't like it, but there's many times I've had to do that. So don't commit yourself that you got to have both of them there. But if I can have both of them there, I want them there. Sometimes one of them's out of town, and sometimes one is just not around for days or weeks or whatever. I don't know, a whole list of things. So if you can get them both there and they're both still living there full time, then fine. Ask him to make sure both of them are present for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is that you can't get a contract unless you get both of them signed. And reason number 2, if you leave it up to John to try to explain this to Mary, he'll probably kill the deal based on what comes out of his mouth or what he doesn't know. And I would prefer that Mary understand clearly what we're doing right from the get-go. All right. So that second question is a big one. It took me over 20 years to come up with that second question. 20 years. That question is, when I come out to your house, are you ready to sell your house now and get some paperwork done while we're there? And if they say no, why on earth would you want to go? Okay. Why? You don't want to go. Save the trip. If I hear that and go say, well, listen, do you want to sell your house now, John, or not? If he says yes, well, then you got to come see it before I can buy it. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. By the way, I don't care what condition it's in. I buy them in all kinds of conditions. I'm going to be the most flexible buyer you've ever seen. So if they say yeah, then that means that they're more motivated and they expect to come out, and they probably expect to get a contract on the house when they come see it if you want to give them one. Now, some of them are going to say, I need to let my attorney see it. Okay, I'll give them a contract based on we already got an oral agreement on the numbers. Don't give anybody a blank contract, ever. It's a good way to kill your deal. You don't need a contract until you have an oral agreement first. And I know there's a whole bunch of people sending out blank contracts. I can tell you, I've been at this 43 years now. And the more you talk, the less success you're going to have. We don't do seminars. We don't bring up subjects that we know are going to lead to a conversation. We simply give simple answers to the seller and any questions that they may have. And there's only a handful of those. And you're going to learn those in my boot camp, as well as how to handle yourself on the phone. So if he says yes, then I'm going to go and make an appointment right now. I just saved you about 1,000 miles this next year, because pre-screening is a lot cheaper than gas and wasting your time. Remember, I ask questions and seller answers my questions, making me an offer. And if I don't like the offer, I keep asking questions to get to what I think is their bottom dollar. And incidentally, I'm going to tell you something that you will only learn if you're in the field. It's a totally different person that you're meeting face to face than one that's on the phone. I mean, they're the same person, but you'll be surprised how the difference is in their attitude, how easier they are to work with. And that, when you was on the phone, you thought that, man, this guy's a jerk. I don't want to mess with him. No, because he is not qualified to sell his house. He's answering the phone himself all day, every day, answering the same questions. Most of the people calling him couldn't buy the house if he gave them the down payment. So he's not trained. He's not qualified to be selling his own house. And the reality of it is, when you are thinking about selling your house to a qualified buyer, I'll bet you when you try to do that, it's going to cost you more money than the tuition is. I mean the realtor's commission is, because you're going to take a lot longer to sell it than the realtor. They already got pinned-up buyers waiting to plug in the houses. So that's a decision you're going to make. In fact, on Friday, I think, I'll show you what the cost is to cash out compared to what the cost is to selling with lease options. $1 million lesson. I don't make offers. Seller makes me an offer. And that goes beyond real estate. That goes with everything you buy from anybody going forward. That should become habit. Never name the price first. Everybody just wants to blurt out what they'll pay. That's a big mistake. Make an appointment only after I screened them and only after they're interested in terms or it's a junker and only after they told me to come. Yeah, you remember they invited me. They said, come on out. And that's what I want to do. And they can't sell a house anyway till somebody comes out and looks at it, especially if it's terms deal. You see, for every terms competition, every one of them that are actually working on terms, there's at least 10 to 20 times more just working on these ugly houses. Ugly houses is how most people enter into the business. They don't know anything about terms. And many of your instructors don't know anything about terms. And so they're getting their clients focused on getting these junkers, and they're walking over the dollars to get to the dimes. There's way more money in terms deals than there is in wholesale deals and rehabs. Because for one reason, the government's going to suck half of it out. Well, they may not now, but they're going to take a big chunk of that in taxes. And that's something else you guys and gals better be wary of. When you get into this business and you get your head around the process, you cannot forget about your uncle in Washington. The IRS is going to get part of what you collect, no matter what you do to try to save it. But the whole goal is to make that as small a part as possible, and make it legal while you're at it. And we're going to discuss that when I come see you. I'm going to show you how to sell houses and then pay absolutely no income tax on it, and it is all legal. All right, let me move on here. There's a script for calling junkers. It's a tough one. If I pay you all cash, what's the least you'll take? You should already memorize that one already. Then that's the best you can do. And again, the goal here is do not talk when you don't need to be talking. Do not volunteer information unless they ask you. The only time you're going to make them an offer is when you want them to come down, and they won't. They get here, and you need them to be here. Then you're going to say, well, I can't do it. Best I can do is here, and let them respond. But the minute that number comes out of your mouth, you've lost control of the conversation. Okay. Nick, we haven't told these folks how to post questions yet, have we, today?
Well, you talked about the VIP package this morning. So if you have questions, then Ron is going to do a Q&A session after the training is over today.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. If you're VIP, then you can join that session and ask questions there. So just write them down until then, so you don't forget them, and then just have them ready for Ron in that Q&A session. If you want, you can come on, share your camera and share your microphone and talk directly with Ron. Or if you don't want to share your camera, you can just share your microphone and talk with Ron back and forth. Or if you don't even want to do that, you can just type your message in the chat and we'll read it to Ron for you. So.
All right, got it. And here's probably your third line if you're trying to negotiate. So you're telling me if I don't give you blank, you won't sell the house? That hits them hard right in the chest right there, because if they say no, they're about to lose a semi-qualified buyer. And trust me, folks, they need you 10 times more than you need them. And just for the record, if you got a seller, and you will sooner or later get one, that you just can't get any yeses out of them, they want everything their way, and they won't give. Just get rid of them. Get rid of them. Just pass. But remember, you're not even going to the house unless they tell you they're ready to sell now. And they've answered all your questions on your PI sheet. So you don't have to go to very many houses. But if you run across somebody that you can't bear to live with or work with, just whack them. Do business with the people who want to do business with you, and get rid of the rest at lightning speed. Here's the 14 mistakes. Now, you definitely need to take a picture of this screen right now, and you're going to have plenty of time to do it. Right now, get out your camera or do a screenshot, save. All right, number one, talk too much. That applies to most people when they first get on the phone. Talk too much. I remember when I put my mentoring team together, several of them, I had to help them fix that. Just talk too much. And this is done. Everyone watching me right now has some of these mistakes within their conversations. I don't care who you are. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've been a salesman all your life. You're going to come in and say, I don't need anybody to teach me this. Yes, you do, because you got to learn how to handle this conversation with these people. It's probably not like the one you had when you were selling cars. And I promise you, there ain't anybody out there that knows everything on here or is aware of it. Heck, you even see people on television all the time violate some of these rules. I'm sitting there listening to them to violate the rules, and I'm not hearing what they're saying. But one of the most you're going to hear about that is number 14 down there, the ums and the ahs and the you knows, which are just a bad habit. That's all they are, just a bad habit. So you got to change your habits, or you're not going forward. Remember, the two ingredients that you must conquer is generating leads and handle a closing call. It's not going to take you long to learn how to handle the closing call. And again, your VAs are getting all the information on your sheets, your PI sheets. So you might want to ask yourself, up to this point, how much time are you actually putting into this business? Not much. What you're not going to do is run all around town all the time looking at houses, mostly of which you will never buy. That's what I used to do. I don't do that anymore. Now, you saw the Dreams Pro presentation yesterday. You see how Adel just generated his own list of leads based on the probable motivation they have to sell their house, and got a list down to, I don't know what it was, several thousand, down to, I think it was 149 or something like that. And now he's mailing to about on those 149 people. So now he's just going to pick out the postcard he wants to mail right on their site, and also pick if you want to do sequential mailing. In other words, a lot of your deals are going to come from the continual follow-up, not the front-end hit. So now you just put in there to follow up on blank day and send a letter this time. And boom, they do it all for you. And you send them the list, of course. Well, it's the same list they mailed to the first time, most likely. And then there's the third hit, fourth hit, fifth hit. They'll do as much as 6 hits for you. You just pick the number you want, pick how far they are apart, and pick the pieces you want to mail. And now you got a machine doing most of the work of finding sellers for you. And when you stack them, there's 17 different motivations that motivate people to sell in the system. Things like, vacant houses, vacant ugly houses, vacant houses over with an asking price under whatever number you use, and asking price above whatever number you use. I don't want any less than 1,000, 1,500, or 2,000 square feet, or whatever you put in there, and less than 3 bedrooms, and they got to have at least 1 bathroom. All of this goes in there. And now you take this big list of sellers that you have in your area, and you narrow them down to a handful of them, and they mail them for you. They got the postcards, they got the letters. You just pick where do you want to go, and they put your number on it, and they do the mailing. And the mailing is cheaper than what you can buy a stamp for. When I say they do the mailing, they do everything. They print it. If it's an envelope, they stuff it, and they put a stamp on it, and out it goes. So it's all automatic. Geez, I wished I had that when I was growing up. All the work we did when I look back, oh my God. I used to spend 2 to 3 days a week, every single week, riding around looking at junkers. Had this big MLS book and that thick in my car, riding around looking at junkers. Anyway, yeah, what a waste. What an absolute waste. Today, you don't need to ride around and look for junkers. They'll come to you. And there's several ways to get them to do that. All right. You get off the script and you get lost. That is exactly what's going to happen if you're not reading a script. And if you haven't practiced handling that script. Doesn't take long, but you got to practice it until you're satisfied with what you have done for yourself. A seller wants to I just did that one. Incidentally, if seller takes you off script, it's pretty easy to get back to it. And that is, well, listen, John, I know I can handle that. I don't have the answer right now, but I'll get to it right back to you. I've really only got 3 questions for you, John, to determine whether we should meet or not. Okay. That was a question. Okay. And now you go right to the 3 questions on the $1 million script. Price, down, term. Teaching. Some of us just can't help but teach. It's just automatic for us. I'll tell you right now, this is not the place to have a class. You cannot start teaching. The longer you talk, the less chance you've getting anything done. And you'll never know what you say to them that totally turns them off. Period. So I am not going to teach. I used to. I used to tell them what I'm going to do after I buy the house. That scared the hell out of them. You mean you're going to put somebody else in my house? Well, yeah. I don't even bring it up. I'm telling you, it's bad to teach. It's good to get a signature. Talk too fast. A lot of people talk too fast. I do it myself sometimes. I'm almost on the edge of that right now. Okay. But you can guard against that. Just put a sign in front of you on your desk. Slow down. Slow down. Might as well add to it. Let's see. Yeah, teaching comes first. And just stop it. Talk too fast. I would venture to say that probably 60% or more of everyone who starts has both of these problems, both of them, and they most certainly have the one above that is begging. Okay? We don't talk too fast, we don't teach, and we don't beg. And I'm sure you're saying to yourself right now, that ain't me, I don't beg. I'll bet you do. I bet you do. Now, if you think you don't beg, tape record your next call with sellers and play it back to yourself. You ain't gonna like it. You ain't gonna like it. I have a barf bag over here in case you need it. You beg when it's in the tone of your voice. That you're gonna have to work on. You beg when you talk too much. You beg when you talk too fast. If you get off the phone and don't get an answer, which is yes or no, one of the two, you made this call for no reason. Your whole call is get to the end here. The whole call is getting the $1 million script filled out. That means they've already said, yes, I'm interested. I'm telling you right now, the amount of scripts you get filled out are going to be a minority compared to the amount of people you call, a deep minority. So if you get 5% of the people you talk to get you a contract, you hit a home run. Home run. All right. Obviously, reading a script, that's just something you practice at. And then get the big 3 answered. That's a big one right there because you got nothing if you don't get those questions answered. Or you speak too softly and they can't hear you. If you speak too softly, speak up. Practice. Speak up. Sign in front of you. You're feeling so intimidated, you need a Tums to calm yourself down and not have any belly aches over this conversation. There's only one way you're going to be able to do that, ladies and gentlemen, and that is keep at it until you don't feel that way. You're going to get a lot of worthless sellers on the phone. You should know that going in. You cannot be intimidated and think that you're doing something wrong because they don't want to do terms. And the more of these calls you make, the faster you'll learn to handle them right. In fact, in my boot camp, you're going to hear a couple of them call sellers live that evening. Call sellers live. Your leads you bring in, they're going to call them. You're going to hear both sides of the conversation. And no 2 of them are alike, but all of them had some of these same problems coming in. And you can't answer seller questions. I don't know why, because they're all right in your manual. They're all right there. My take on how to answer them. Or your accent is too hard to understand. You know, you immigrant into this country and you haven't mastered the English language yet. You probably should not make that call. Let me have somebody else make it for you. Because I can tell you for a fact, if I can't understand what they're saying, I'm going to tell them, I don't understand what you're saying. Would you get somebody on the phone that speaks clear English? And that happens all the time. In fact, it happened the day before yesterday. I couldn't even, 3 times I kept, what'd you just say? What'd you just say? I tried. Nope. I said, go get somebody else, put them on the phone here, please. And he did. He did just that. My mystery is, why does any company hire people to get on the phone when you can't even understand what they say? It makes no common sense to me. And interrupting and missing, this is a bad one. A lot of people have this one, and boy, this one ticks me off when somebody's sitting across from me and they do this. They interrupt you. I used to do it. I used to do it bad. And a lot of your people on television, all your talking heads, a lot of them do it. I fixed mine because a good friend of mine and I were having a conversation one day, and I said to him, or I was talking to him. I didn't say anything to him. When I finished a sentence, he came back and he said, Ron, are you aware you interrupted me 3 times before I got my sentence out? And honestly, no, I was not aware. So I went to work fixing it right away. I very seldom do it today. Still on my mind. Shut up. Do not interrupt. You got to. It's only a habit change. That's all it is. You got to write down what's wrong and then keep practice until you got it. That's how all of them do it. And many of them, when they start out, they're terrible on the phone. If they practice like I ask them to do, they get better and better and better. And I'm telling you, it's going to give you a feeling of safety when you can get somebody on the phone and you don't have to, and you're not going to interrupt them. You let them talk, and you might as well let them talk. They got to give you the answers anyway. And you got to be cordial. I didn't say you can't bring up. You hear dogs in the background. Well, oh, good. What kind of dogs you got? Yeah, I got a couple of Irish setters, or whatever. But that conversation can't go more than a couple of sentences past that. Because some sellers want to keep you on the phone for hours if you let them. And then the ums and the ahs and the you knows. We all have that problem too. But the thing is, people that talk like that, with the ums and the ahs and the you knows, they don't know it's a problem. They don't hear it. Okay? You might be the one that they trust enough to actually start changing it. I've done that so many times I can't count them. Right? No. Shut up. I don't know. I'm not done yet, but tomorrow we're going to go to where to get the money. And why selling houses may not be your best exit strategy. First, let me tell you about my 4-day event that I've been telling you about. And then you're going to decide whether you want to join me or not. Because I still teach them all. I teach them all myself. Let's see what time we got here. Yeah, we're okay. And somebody asked yesterday, what's the schedule for next year? I'm going to put it right up here where you can take a picture of it. We have live events. That means human beings in a hotel room. And we have virtual events. That means human beings supposedly looking at a screen somewhere. Okay. Live events worth 10 times more than virtual. Fortunately for you, if you get one, the other one's free. And again, we'll have the schedule for you in a minute. We're going to teach how to create debt back to the seller, subject to or on a wrap. In fact, we've got contracts in there that we're going to fill out. You're going to fill them out. And we got blanks in there for everything you need, so you can come right back to it and just change the names and the faces and so forth. But you got to learn how to talk to the seller when it comes to either a wrap or how you're trying to do a subject to. And you'll also see that I'm not a fan of subject to, except for a couple of situations. One being the sellers are dead and their children are taken over and the loan's in their seller's name. And 2 is that if the seller don't care, because they ain't never going to apply for credit again. Credit's so screwed up now, I'll take those subject to as well. But most of the houses I buy are not that situation. Most of them are good people working for a living and got good credit and still need to sell their house and get off underneath the debt. So you don't assume that you're only going to be talking to people with poor credit. It's just not true. You're going to learn how to find deals. I just touched on it yesterday. I got a whole afternoon on nothing but finding deals in this class, more than you're ever going to do. So I'm going to let you pick out the ones you want to do. Live seller calls the first night. I have mentors on the stage dialing your leads that you bring in, because we're going to worry, be in touch with you and asking you to start generating leads by then. And we're going to call all of them, because during the whole first day, one or two of them are dialing while I'm teaching. Then that evening, we're going to bring some other ones up on the stage. And these are only calls that we've made that looks like they're going to be deals. So you're going to see why they're a deal, how much money would be in it if you went forward with it. And in fact, my team's going to help you fill out a purchase and sale agreement before you even leave the room, and maybe even email out the offer after you get in your head what you're willing to pay. So this is a real deal. This is not some seminar. This is the real deal here. And I have never done a boot camp where I didn't get some deals from the leads that students bring in. And that's going to get better and better, because with this new dreams thing, it's a lot easier for them to get deals because they're picking the most qualified sellers out of the pile. That AI, by the way, has information on every building in the country. God bless AI, up to now. Let's see. Oh, by the way, we have contracts filled out in the event, ready for you to take home and keep your appointment that we make at the event. So you don't have to worry about filling out the paperwork wrong. That's called my deal structuring classes, where we go over all of them that our terms do this. So far, I've not done a single boot camp where we didn't come up with some deals, some more, some less. Students bring in leads, and we work them for them while you watch. You can sit out and be on the phone with them if you want when they're calling a seller. I can't imagine me doing a boot camp without teaching asset protection, entity structuring, and tax reduction. And entities. Who knows? This could be the most important couple hours of the whole event for you. Asset protection is something that everybody ought to think about. Even if everything's going right, you just never know when the day comes that it's going to go wrong. I'm going to teach you how to get going, setting up your estate plan, which got to include asset protection and entity structuring. Got to include entity structuring. And of course, you need to lower the taxes as low as you can get them. And then if you want, I'm going to have an attorney get that plan done for you if you want. And guess what? Global's going to pay for it for you. Yes, we're going to pay for it for you. So that event is very important. I'll show you how to structure yourself so that no creditor is going to come across the moat and get into your castle. And I'll show you how to structure your entity so that they're not getting anything if they come. Because, guys, it's not about hiding anything. You're not going to hide anything. Not with a sophisticated database attorneys got today. You're not hiding anything, right? But that doesn't mean you can't put yourself in a position to where when they go, you got it. That doesn't mean they're going to get it. Nobody better qualify that than me. After 2008, we're going to take a video bus trip. My friend Jay Connor and I. Jay's from Morehead City, North Carolina. He teaches private lending. He's going to be teaching private lending there. As soon as I taught him private lending in 2009, he raised $2.2 million in the next 90 days. And his methods are going to like Jay. And the third morning, we're going to do a bus tour on film. I'm going to go through two ugly houses, two vacant houses. Vacants, we're going to go in and see what we fixed and how much it cost. Then we're going to compare that to what Jay actually spent to fix the house, see how close we get, because he's got before and after. Then we're going to go into a couple of his afters. And you're going to see why his houses go as fast as he can get them ready. They're beautiful inside. Doesn't overspend on them, but he does a nice job of renovating. And he's done it really close to 500 times now since he got out of my boot camp in in 2009. The very first year he went home and netted over $1 million, over $1 million. Today, he nets about $2.5 million per year. And he, his operating costs come out of that. So his whole business he don't have much operating costs. So let's say he just nets $2.5 million. He only does about 30 houses a year. Can you imagine that? About 30 a year. Now he buys junkers and renovates them and uses private money to do that. But he also buys pretty houses, which he don't renovate. He just lease option out to tenant buyer. So Jay's a very good sample for you to pattern your business about. And he's also a very good man, as you'll see if you haven't met him already. You're gonna learn what to fix. Yes, I'm gonna spend time on that. What it costs, hiring and controlling contractors. That's probably the most important thing on the whole list right there, because trust me, they know how to handle you, even if you don't know how to handle them. Getting bids. Wait till you see all my samples of getting bids and the difference between my bid and the actual cost. You're going to see what everything costs. We go through your event and we show you proof that it costs it. I got pictures of stuff in Lowe's. You know, don't tell me it costs more here. It does not cost more here. Labor goes up and down, but the materials are the same. They don't change the websites. So all the myths about hiring and firing contractors and getting bids, I'm going to explode it for you. I'm going to show you 5 or 6 bids that I got, both inside and outside of real estate, where the actual price was about half of the quoted price. Did you hear what I said? Half. You got to know what stuff costs so you don't know you're getting skinned when you get the bids from the contractor. By the way, if you get to this boot camp, I am going to be your transaction coordinator, which means before you close the purchase of any deal, I want to see all the documents. Before you close the sale of any deal, I want to see the documents that the closing agent prepares for you. And I'll move quick. And when you want to rehab a house, man, you get a bid. I want you to send me that bid. I'll look it over and I'll tell you whether you're paying too much or not. So if you want me to, I'll call your contractor and have a meeting with him on the phone. And that's dangerous because you're either going to have a lower bid or you're going to have no contractor when I get off the phone. Okay, whichever one is right. I will absolutely positively guarantee to you that you will be paying too much if you don't know what the stuff costs to begin with. Contractors will pick it up real fast. Uh-oh. Estimating the value, very important. How to use comps, how to get the real value, not some value they stick online. Ain't never right. And what to pay for houses, very big part of the sessions. And then the rehab checklist. I got a checklist in there, save you thousands of dollars on just a few rehabs, keep you from trying to remember everything. And then we're going to talk about some better exits as well. You know, we don't have to sell everything we get. We don't have to sell it for cash. There's all kinds of different exits you haven't even heard yet. Jay's going to teach you how to raise private money, and you're going to love this guy. He and who knows better than him? He's raised millions and millions and millions of dollars in private money over the last, whatever it is, 15 years or so. Proof of funds. Proof of funds is already set up for you. When we give you the code, which you'll get at the event, you can go into that site and fill in some blanks and print out your own proof of funds. And you got to have proof of funds to make offers through realtors. And you know, I don't know that there is a place where they don't demand proof of funds. Proof of funds does not mean I'm making you a loan. Proof of funds from your mother does not mean she's making you a loan. It's just that somewhere there's enough money that you have access to buy and rehab this deal. And we always borrow more. We always borrow more than we need. I'm going to be your transaction coordinator, as I just talked to you about it a couple of minutes ago. I want to be a part of your purchases and a part of your sales and a part of your contractors' bids. There's no charge, okay? You qualify when you come to the Quick Start School. And I'm going to tell you, I might even I won't guarantee it because I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to tell you, there is no chance that if you send me your documents when you're buying and selling, that I won't save you more than you paid for this event. And well, with maybe 2 rehabs and sometimes only 1. So basically, this event is free if you actually use the information you're getting out of it. And the last day, we're going to talk about selling houses on autopilot. And we're gonna get away with myth. We don't go we don't go meet the buyer out there at the house. First, we pre-screen them and make sure they got the money and make sure they got enough down and enough per month, or they're closed, before we can give them the lockbox key. So not very many people are going to go through your house because we don't give them the key if there's no way they're going to get in. And we teach this on autopilot. Teach you how to sell houses without coming out of money to buy advertising, and count your blessings that count your blessings that Al Gore invented the internet for us, huh? Why we get 10% more than market value on every house, almost every house we sell. Jay does. Wait till he shows you what he sells them for based on what they were worth when he started the renovation. How to build a big list of rehab buyers waiting for you to find them a house. And that's the most valuable asset you're going to have in a business, is that buyer's list, whether it's for junkers or whether it's for homes for owner occupants. Junkers, you're literally selling them a business. You ever thought about it that way? When you sell a house to somebody that's in the rehab business, isn't that a business? You're literally selling them a business opportunity. Those kind of buyers, they don't get shuffled around in the back of a realtor seat with the kids throwing up on the floor and all that junk they go through. When I sell a rehabber, I don't need to meet anybody out there because it's their business, and if they're not going to buy it, they're not going to buy it. If they are, good. But I'm not going to meet them out there. We're going to do everything on the phone or by email, including the closing. When we actually reach the number, now I send out my Cash App number, or Zelle, or Venmo, or all the other ones out there. Tell them to send me back a deposit back, and we take at least $1,000 on a wholesale junker. Sometimes it's more. And so when we get that back signed, so we send them our contract with the seller, their assignment from us assigning it to them, and they close. We don't close. Therefore, we put the buyer and seller together, but we've got a legal binding contract to buy the house. Don't even think about selling houses. You don't have a contract to buy. It is illegal. You need a realtor's license to do that. But if I put it under contract to buy it, there's nothing stopping me from selling it to another buyer. Also, beware. There are several states now that you cannot wholesale a house without a license. But I got several ways to get around that. One of them is actually don't buy the house, lease option it from the seller, and then have the seller deed it to the buyer whenever you're ready, which would be the next day or the same day as when you bought it from the seller. Or you can, even better, you can get out of your city where you need a license and go somewhere around you where you don't. In other words, guys, you can buy junkers anywhere in America, from anywhere in America, and a lot of people are. I hang around people that they say they wholesale 250 and up of houses a year. You're not going to do that sitting in one city. So they're in multiple cities. Now with the virtual that we have nowadays, because the truth is they never went out to look at the house anyway. They look at the house, they get the asking price, general condition, it's online, and then they get the purchase price down as low as they can, then they get a contract, and then they put the word out, this house is for wholesale at blank price. They don't even go to the house. And now some of them do if they're local. Some of them have boots on the ground in each city. One he or she goes out and looks at the house and gives them a report. And they work in 4 or 5 different cities at the same time. You can too once you clearly understand this wholesaling thing. Just imagine what wholesaling 250 houses a year will do for your pocketbook. Yeah, I'll let you think about that one a while. I do not want to wholesale a house in net less than 20. I have wholesaled a lot of houses netting less than 20. But I want them to be, I want the net to be worth more than that. The better you get at buying them, the more money you're going to make selling them at the same price. You can bring a parent, a child, a spouse, and or significant other. In other words, you can bring one guest for free or one in your business, your partner, employee for free, just one. Second one and third one costs $500 per person. And you can come back as often as you want at absolutely no charge, whether it be virtual or whether it be live. Don't forget your friend in Washington, because he won't forget you. Remember, when you make money in this country, you have to pay taxes on it unless you have gotten enough deductions to not pay taxes on it. So I see some people make a mistake. They work all year and make a bunch of money and they forget about the IRS. And here he comes back with a vengeance trying to collect what you haven't paid him. That's not going to be pleasant, because that's really going to take all your energy away while you're arguing with the IRS. Don't argue with them, pay them. That's one gorilla you don't want to dance with. And whatever tax bracket you're in, let's say you're in a 25% tax bracket, you realize that every dollar you spend on your training, Uncle Sam is then paying 25% of it for you, because you get deducted. You get to deduct this class. You get to deduct the whopping $149 you paid for me in here slaving over this for a whole week for you. You get to deduct travel to a training event, the hotel, the food, all of that stuff. Take advantage of it, because if you're going to be in business, you're going to have to be aware of what you can deduct and what you can't. Or it's going to cost you a lot of money you just let go down the drain. There's the calendar. Whoever asked that question yesterday, that is the calendar for the live events only. Means human beings in a hotel room, not human beings on the net, on the web. Okay, shoot it fast, and I reserve the right to change one or two of them a year. Try not to, but sometimes things come up and I have to move them. And the company's in Jacksonville, and that's a good thing. You're going to come down to our offices. You're going to get trained in our buildings. We got hotels all around us, so it's not a problem. And by the way, I guarantee good weather at every one of these events. Guarantee it. We could be in the dead of winter and have better weather than you snowbirds at any day of the week. Now, here's your virtual events. Only two of them next year, April and October. Got them? Got them. You're also going to get a monthly conference call for boot camp graduates only, where we can all speak the same language. Bring your PI sheets. Let me look at them. Bring your issues, bring your successes, all of that on that call. What's it going to cost? What difference does it make? Here's what I used to charge, $59.95, and that's true. Used to charge that, and then we had that recession, and I lowered it, and I haven't put it back up yet. That's a lot of money, though. I understand it. I mean, think about it. How many deals you got to do to get that money back if you paid the $6,000? Just one. Let's say you go to a accredited university. How much are you going to borrow to go to that university? And how long is it going to take to pay it back when you don't even have a job when you get out of there? I mean, comparably, my university is dirt cheap, because my only focus is on helping you make more money, not all that junk that they teach you that you're never going to use the rest of your life. So how many of you want to see that price lower? Raise your hand. I want to see that price lower. Are you raising your hand, Nick? They're raising, John? All right. Here it is lower. Okay, that was a slimy trick. You're still not going to pay it. All right, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you all three of my cash flow systems that sell for $1,997. One on the pretty house, one on the wholesaling, one on the rehabbing and retailing. But there's only so much I can do on these that I get a lot more done in the class live, because the whole class is participating and contributing, and you get to meet a lot of people along the way that live all over the country and get their information so you can form your own little group. And when you get out of there, growing together and you're going to meet some people who might become lifelong friends. I can't tell you how many times that has happened. And you can only do that when you're in the room with them. Not to mention, when I'm doing this thing virtually, we don't call sellers, we don't look at your leads, and we don't negotiate deals for you. Frankly, the virtual event is tailored more just to be a warm-up event to get to the one where you're in a room. And if you're coming to Jacksonville, start with a new airline. What is it? Dreams or I think it's, I don't know. But there's a new airline that comes here cheap, really cheap. When you get these courses, the very first terms deal you do, if you send it to me, if you send a little description of it to me, and this document here, then I'm going to send you a check for $1,000. No catch, no catch. We send them out every week. So you keep the certificate. You see my name is signed on it already. Do a term, do it in 90 days, and get a check for $1,000. I mean, $1,000 ain't no big deal, but it's still a lot of money. In fact, to some people, it's a whole lot of money. And yes, we do send the checks in case you're asking. They go out on a Monday. You automatically get a 180-day helpline, 5 days a week. In other words, somebody's on the other end of the phone is qualified to help you. Unlimited calls and unlimited emails with your mentor. And from the time you sign up today, I'm going to be working with you personally on deals that your mentor told you this looks like a go. And incidentally, if you are presenting a contract to a seller, your mentor will be on the phone with you to talk with them to any questions they might have, taking you off the hook for not being able to answer their questions. So we're going to assign you a mentor quickly, but I really, if I were you, I wouldn't even get a mentor till I am less than 60 days away from the live event, or if it's right on you. You're in really good shape if it's right on you, coming soon, because now you can go out and generate leads, kind of forces you to do it and bring them to class. And that means it's just a handful of PI sheets, and that's all you need to do. And we'll probably get you, I ain't gonna say we're probably, but if I say you're probably, I'll probably get everybody in the class but you one. So, all right. Like that cat, I walk through the valley of shadow of death. I'll fear no evil. That's kind of what you feel like when you're out there all alone. So I don't even ever want you to go all alone. So we can get letters like this from you. I made $125,000 just thanks to the person on the other end of the phone. And now you're going to have a mentor as well as working with me, because I'm going to work with you for 90 days starting today. 90 days. And I personally look at them, and I will email you back why it's not a good deal, or I'll pick up the phone and I'll call you and tell you, let's go get this one done. And then you work with your mentor to do just exactly that. And then I look over the contract that you get signed. Or if you want, I'll look it over before you get it signed. But either way works. You can come back as often as you want for a full year to both the live and the virtual, and you can bring the guest. I mean, I can't stop you for how many guests you bring to the virtual. I caught a guy one time. He was taking advantage of that. He was literally bringing a different person every time he went to a boot camp. I saw him almost every time we had a boot camp. I found out he was charging them $500 and telling us to get, they're working with him, get him in free. He used to be one of our customers. Here's your guarantee, very simple. You got 100% money back guarantee for 30 days starting today. And then if that's not good enough, you can come to the event and leave at the end of the second day and get 100% of your cost back. Now that's pretty dangerous, isn't it? It's not dangerous, because if I haven't got your attention by the end of the second day, I'm never going to get it, to be honest. Might be best that you just leave, because I can only work with people that want to work with me and actually follow instructions. And by the way, I find that more often with the women than I do the men. Sorry, guys, it's testosterone. We can't do anything about it. Okay. Macho man, I get it. I was the same way. Time fixed it. Today and today only, you're going to get up to 105 points. In other words, if you got 230 points, you're going to get $230 off of your price, in addition to the discounts I gave you. And I didn't tell you, the truth is that this thing is selling right now for $29.95 and $34.95. I mean, 2 or 3 months ago, it was selling for $49.95 and $39.95. I lowered the price to try to help people get some education so they can figure out that you don't have to go back to a job if you don't want to. You need to be your own boss. So if you got Gold Club points, you use them. If you don't have Gold Club points, well, if you're in the $99 level or the $297 level, you got Gold Club points because you get it every time you register. I mean, every time you pay your dues, and every time, the longer you play on the site, the points just keep on rolling up. So a lot of people watching right now have got 500 Gold Club points. And if you don't, call in and they'll tell you how many you got. So I'm going to do you one more thing. Well, let me get this. How much? I think I told you that, didn't I? No, I didn't. All right. It's not $59.95. It's not $49.95. Not even $39.95. It's $34.95 if you have to finance it. If you don't, it's $29.95. So you save $500 by just putting it on a credit card, or we can debit your account however you want to pay for it. Yeah, and again, $500 if you don't finance it. If I were you, I'd find a way to just pay for it, save $500. I'm also going to give you back the money you paid to get on this VIP thing we're on right now. So you can deduct that from whatever price you're putting up there. And when you register for a Quick Start School, you get automatically 250 points off. So look at there, you're as much as $700 off right now. 500 if you pay in full, 149 subtracted for everybody that's a VIP. And incidentally, you can still become a VIP. Might make sense when it saves you I'm paying for your VIP today, so if you sign up, we're going to give you credit for that. That's why you got to call in and get help from somebody who understands what I just said, because they got the sheets in front of them, and then work it down to get the lowest price you can, and then make sure we have your contact information, because we're going to send all the stuff that we promised you Monday. I have a 90-day consulting certificate that I will sign for you. Comes with your package. And basically it says for the next 90 days, you and I are married. Don't worry, ladies, it's a sexless marriage. Now, this certificate gives you $1,000. Now, what does a certificate give them? I can't remember.
90 days consulting.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. The certificate gives you the first 90 days are with me, and you get a mentor in the middle. You can still go 90 days with me. But you got to sign that and send it back. Send a copy of the certificate with it. I mean, send your PI sheets. Send a copy of this with it, and then I'll know you have the right to work with me, and I'll respond to you. This won't work because, or I'll pick up the phone and call you. So if I call you, don't faint on me. I had one gal do that one time. I don't know why. I ain't no movie star. Okay, listen to these bonuses right now that you're going to get with this 4-day event. You're going to get a whole course on contracts. Of course, we're going to teach you at the event, but you got a course that you can play at home now, and on terms and cash deals. You're also going to get how to use a land trust. Land trust works in all 50 states, and they're not complicated, but they are a little difficult to absorb on the front end. So I teach this to you 5 or 6 times that you finally become a part of your life going forward. Land, I own every piece of property. I own every house that I have in a land trust. Its own trust, one house, one trust. No EIN number, no annual filing, no annual reporting. Your land trust, the IRS considered you. So whatever you net in it will go to your personal tax returns, but nobody will even know you own real estate, because your name is never going to be on public record as the owner of property once you get into Planet Ron. A serious punishment for that. Don't forget my cash flow systems. That is $2,000 worth of systems I'm going to give you for free with your quick start. This one literally took 6 days to film. It is a whole list of ways to get quality leads, many of which I got from the students, some of which I got from the vendors that produce on their own. So you don't want to start with them. You want to start with the stuff that's very inexpensive until you get the hang of it, and just roll it up as you get better lists with more and more motivated sellers on it. You will never do everything that's on these 2 dates. You will never do it. You don't need to. You really only need 3 or 4 things that are going that actually generate leads. I'm going to send you this. This is good stuff in here. Sometimes you go the cheaper way and you work your way on up to the more expensive way where you let other companies generate the leads for you. All my players do just exactly that, but that's not how you start. That's $5,000 in free bonuses. So here's your recap. If you want to take a screenshot of that and save it, because I know that's a lot of stuff. You're not going to write all that stuff down. And we're going to have guys on duty here and gals to take your calls all right on up to 5 o'clock today. But don't wait. By the way, when you call them, you should try to schedule an appointment for your application that's on your site for you to fill out. Send that in as quick as you can, like now would be good. And then together you go back and forth and you'll schedule your 90-day consulting period. And again, it's not a sales call. Unless you ask what something costs, they're not going to try to sell you anything. All right. You got it. No risk, no guarantee, no risk. $1,000 rebate, $500 if you pay in full. And then you get these bonuses. Contracts, how to fill out contracts with samples of them right in there. And land trust course. And frankly, that's land trust course is worth more than you're paying for this whole bundle 7, 8, 9, 10 times over. And then you get my 3 cash flow systems, which retail for $19.97. And you're already getting 50% off the boot camp. Gosh, I don't know what else I can do for you. Just come home and do the deals for you. I might even do that. You got enough money. Mariah spent a lot of money with other teachers and I ain't rich yet. I get it. I did the same thing. After a few years, I figured out what the problem was. And it was ugly. Yeah, it was me. The problem was not run the training. The problem was converting the training to implementation. With no implementation, you get no checks. So you're going to get the training here, and we're going to help you get started implementing right here when you're here. And you will learn very, very quickly what to go after and what don't go after. How to pre-screen quickly. And then how to get it to a conclusion, get a contract on the house, and then how to sell the house, regardless of how you're selling it, wholesale, rehab, on terms, or what. You're going to learn all of that, and then some. You're going to learn mistakes you don't want to make when you're rehabbing a house, and also when you're selling a wholesale house. So when you get the implementation in your head, and you get the leads generated, you're ready to make closing calls to the sellers, and then get some contracts. And incidentally, how do you think we get contracts today? Look, it's called virtual. Now, of course, if you meet the seller, then you get them to sign it right there. There's no person or company better qualified to help you succeed. 43 years doing this. I must have learned something along the way. Huh? Some cool tricks that you don't know about yet. You make millionaires. Can't wait for you to join us. Here's some of the many testimonials we get all the way from Oregon, $20,000 on his first deal. And Louisiana, $50,000 on her first deal. Wow. By the way, you see they're holding up checks, folks. First check you get, don't let them wire it to you. I want you to get a check and take a picture of it, just like she's doing right here, and put it up on your wall, because that'll remind you to get out there and start implementing this stuff, some of the stuff that you learn. Besides, that's your shut up check, because you're going to have dream stealers coming at you from all directions, trying to tell you this is illegal here, it's a scam, you can't do that, especially in this market, blah, 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 bull, 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 bull. In all of my 43 years, there hasn't been a single year that I haven't bought houses regardless of what the economy was like. And I've been through 6 of those downturns, including 2008, in the process. People will always be selling their houses. Other people will always be buying their houses. It doesn't matter where you live. You're not going to change that. And pretty soon, I'm going to try to get it from your head down to your heart, so it's not so scary anymore. And the only way you're going to learn is get out there and do some implementation. That's why when you get to boot camp, I'm going to try to get you into a mentoring program where you got somebody by your side all the time. Wow. $67,000 on that deal in Florida. Wow. All you need is one a month of those, huh? There's a little one into the other end, okay? And that's in Pennsylvania. That was a wholesale deal, which, by the way, you should never do a wholesale deal that only gets you $7,000. Okay. So I know when you have a choice, send it back or keep it. Well, you can't send it back, but I can take the list of MLS houses that are sent to me daily and do one of those every day and make more than $7,000. And that's true. That ain't enough. You might say, well, it's enough for me. No, it ain't. When you start getting larger checks, just make a note how fast you get greedier and greedier and greedier. And you want to make more and more and more. All right, Florida again, 5,500, another little small wholesale deal. But you know what? I don't care how much he makes. I care that he's making it because the small ones are going to turn into bigger ones. Stephen, $35,000 from another one in Florida. Texas, yeah, this works in Texas too. $30,000 on assignment fee. Another wholesale deal that he assigned. Pennsylvania, $23,000. Our walls in Jacksonville look like this, all over the place. Plus, I seen a stack about this high the other day that haven't been hung up on the wall yet. So hopefully we can get you up on the wall. And by the way, when you do a deal and you get a check, it is illegal if you don't send that to me. Not the check, the picture of you in the check. Or the check too if you want. So make sure that I get something from you about your first or your next check. And that's what drives us around here is you. It's not illegal, but I wish it was. All right. I've made my case, and now I hope I've convinced you to come to Planet Ron, and we'll work together for years to come and get you in a totally different financial environment than you're in right now. And I can tell you, you might as well learn what real estate is all about, even when you buy your home. By the way, you'll save more closing costs buying your home to live in than this event cost you, way more, by just understanding who should be paying what. And there is no law that says either party has to pay any of the closing costs. That's just closing agent and whoever else you're involved with. And that's when you're buying houses from FSBOs. This don't even come up. You decide who pays the closing costs. All right. Do I need to announce anything before I get off here? Guys?
Yeah, we should just talk about the Q&A session again. For our VIPs, you can click on the left side of your screen. There's a button that says Q&A with Ron, and you can join us there. Ron will be on for about an hour with you guys, answering any questions you have. You can join with your webcam. You can turn your camera off. A couple of people have been shy. They didn't want to show up on camera. You can turn the camera off, join us, talk to Ron, ask him anything you want. You can type questions in the chat section. So Ron will spend an hour with you VIPs here. We'll take about a 10-minute break, and then we'll head on over there and get that started.
Don't count on the hour now. I'm only going to talk as long as you guys ask questions. So it might run out before the hour. And if it does, I'll stay around anyway. All right. See you in a bit. 10 minutes, which by my watch makes it 5 minutes till 3.
Quick Start Real Estate School is our staple event. It is our basic training. It is where people actually learn the art of buying and selling houses without using their money or credit. And it's the beginning of the training, but it's the training that actually launches careers, because they can leave that training and go out and start doing deals immediately. And then, of course, if they want, they can grab one of our mentors to help them for 6 months and lead them step by step through the process of getting checks. It's quite an intense event. I mean, it's 4 days long, and it's long hours because we don't end until 7:30 on the first night. But the last thing that happens on that first night is that we actually call live sellers. I mean, you hear both sides of the conversations on the phone, and we have some of our mentors call these sellers from leads that the students brought in. And of course, we have a daily feed of these leads into their Gold Club site every day, so we actually get the leads for them, call them for them, so they can bring them to class. Now when they bring them to class, our mentors get on the phone and create some deals. And this is a huge benefit because some of the people who bring those leads go home with deals and literally make more money off those deals than every training we could possibly provide to them. And on the second day, the afternoon, we get into the ugly house side of the business, which is wholesaling and rehabbing and buying junkers and that whole business. We cover that during that day. And then on the third day, we actually have a brand new video now of us. A friend of mine, Jay Connor, who's renovated over 420 houses, going out into the field and going through 2 ugly houses and then through 2 houses that he's just renovated. And we go through those with a fine-tooth comb, talking about what we'd fix, how we'd fix it, what would it cost. And by the time you're through, you get a whole overview of rehabbing houses. And one of the things, of course, we addressed hard is the actual cost of what it takes to renovate a house and handling contractors and the like. We even got contractors' agreements right in the manual. The manual's about that thick, and I'm updating it constantly with the stuff you will not get anywhere else. And then on that afternoon, we talk about raising the money, private money. And then I go into some entity structuring stuff. Entity structuring is tax reduction, estate planning, because that is a part of the learning process. It's one thing to go make money, but then we have to learn how to protect it, what entities to use, how do we take title to it, and how do we set up our estate so that our stuff goes where we want it to go. And the last day is spent on selling houses on autopilot. And I do mean autopilot. Automation is built into this entire event. It's part of the learning process, and we have it all set up so when the client goes home, they're ready to do business, not have to go out and find a bunch of stuff and put it all together. And one of the really cool things we do there every single day is we take all of these property information sheets that were called during the event by our mentors, and I discuss them. So we go over them every single day on, all right, what's the next step? In fact, we even get a contract for them before they even leave to take out into the field, because literally appointments are made while they're making the calls. Then I also have Jay Connor, who comes from North Carolina and done well over 420 rehabs, but he's also the expert on getting private money from individuals, not from loan sharks. Jay helps me throughout the event as well, and they sit down with students and they work with them and they help them overcome any issues that they have, and they give them guidance and how to build their business as part of the event. You know, one of the biggest things that people get out of this is they build a big old network of nationwide relationships, because people come from all over the country when we do this live, and they get to know each other and they grab each other's information, and that creates relationships that go on for years and years and years. I've seen it happen over and over. Plus, you know, if I want somebody in LA and I live in Jacksonville, I build my list, and now I can call on that list whenever I need to. And frankly, the students get as much from the other students as they get from the teachers, because some of the people in the room are doing deals, they're doing business, because we let people come back for free to this event as many times as they want for the first year, and very inexpensive even after that. So there's a lot of good quality people. I'm constantly updating the content of this event because, you know, things change, technology changes, and I think one of the biggest benefits is the students bring stuff to me. I learn as much from them as they learn from me, and as I learn it, I add it to the content of the class. And frankly, one of the biggest benefits of people coming to a live event is that they get to sit around and talk to the other people. And the other one is that I have full attention the whole time, and I never know what you're doing when you're watching virtual. I don't know what you're doing behind that. And we can't have any fun. I can't tell jokes because I can't hear anybody laughing. We've discovered that people learn 3 times more at a live event, and they'll have a whole lot more fun at a live event than they will ever have at a virtual event. But going forward, we will still be doing virtual events, and we'll have live events mixed in. And the good news is that once you attend a virtual event, you can come to a live event at no charge, and vice versa. So you actually can get to experience them both, and you don't have to wait for a live event to come up. There's just a couple of things that one has to learn to crack the code to really turn this machine on and grow it as fast as they want to grow it. And frankly, you're not ever going to believe how much money can be made in real estate until you come spend 4 days with the old guy.
Ron's event to me is heads and toes above any other event. He always has good content. He has good speakers that he brings in. He doesn't let just anybody come in and speak. He always has good speakers.
It's great energy. There's a lot of people motivated and a lot of people that are getting motivated. You can just tell by everyone that walks up there and speaks that they're here to help with whatever they can. So it's really exciting.
So the content is a little overwhelming at first when some of the mentors have said to us, be prepared, it's like drinking from a fire hose. They are absolutely right.
It's just chock full of so much great information, first of all, and then just to hear testimonials from others who've been doing it as well.
It's awesome. The amount of information it borders on information overload, but it is so good. Every time you hear it, you just understand it a little better.
So the live on-stage phone calls where all the mentors got up on stage. Each mentor got about 3 chances, or whoever they can get on the phone. And it was raw, uncut, live calls. Like, you know, anything can go.
You actually get to see fellow students work on properties that have the potential for you to purchase and make an incredible profit on.
Ron's an awesome guy. He's got the goods. It's not a flash in the pan kind of event. It's just rock solid meat and potatoes, good stuff all the way through.
He is so matter of fact. His teaching style is very to the point. There's no BS, but you learn really quickly that way.
He's the real deal. He's to the point, and he's been doing it for so long that it's like second nature to him. And if you just listen to what he does and what he says, then you'll do fine.
He seems sincere, he's honest, he's easy to understand. He has a sense of humor, so I enjoy his teaching.
Man, he changed my life, man, just off of the content that I've gotten, just listening to him. And I don't know too many people that can hold you in one place for 12 hours and you still be excited just listening to him.
He tells you exactly what to do, how it is. It's no baloney, you know? I like that.
Everybody is just super nice, super helpful. They want to make sure that you're getting what you're needing.
Anytime we have a question, they're there to answer it.
Everybody's so helpful, and all they want to do is see you succeed, which is very good, and it's obvious too.
This event gives you limitless potential. You owe it to yourself to come and learn what this process is, because it will open your eyes and change your life.
Just do it. I mean, save up the money, and if you're on the fence and this is something that you're interested in and you can see yourself doing, then you're absolutely right. You can absolutely do this business. It'll change your life. I believe it's changed mine.
If you're considering real estate at all, this event, you can get people that will walk beside you and help you become a success in this. 100%. You will do deals with these people.
You're going to make it back in one deal if you're passionate about it and this is what you want to do. To me, it's like a no-brainer, you know?
Just do it. Just do it.
I tell you what I learned along the way is the cost of education is cheap compared to the price of ignorance. You know, my biggest focus today is not so much teaching real estate. We teach real estate. I can teach anybody how to buy and sell houses in a very short period of time. But the hardest thing we have to work on today is to teach people how to run a business and get out of the minutia, get out of the daily grind. I'll tell my folks, this is a very part-time business that produces a massive full-time income. And if you're working at it more than part-time, you're just wasting all the time you're putting into it.